It's enough, I think. It's enough, I think.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Green Live stream. We're fresh from yesterday. Had a couple naps and
We're right
food
back.
and water and things. I'm your host, Edie, and I'm here with Mr. Scott Free.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Yes,
back in his regular hat.
and glasses, right? I did my other 1960s glasses, I guess, for last night. But
yeah. Well, we'd like to welcome Zeke Smith. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Heard lots of good things about you. Been reading your Substacks. And welcome to the show. If you wanted to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Definitely. Thank you, everyone, for having me. My name is Zeke. I'm a member of the Solidarity Now Collective. We're a group of affiliated comrades nationwide or throughout the country that are basically focusing on how do we move the left forward. And we're doing that through participating in local union actions, local activist movements, as well as we created a Substack to really get our ideals, mindsets, and we have a discussion with the nationwide left and also internationally. So I'm based locally here in Chicago. My day job, I'm an engineer, also a DJ throughout the city. And I'm definitely loving talking politics and how do we move things forward in America, make things better for everybody. So I'm happy to be here.
Yes, we're happy to have you.
So your Substack caught my attention. Do we have that?
Yeah. Do you want
the one about how the Democrats rolled over and played dead?
Okay.
And I think a lot of people don't understand the behind the scenes maneuvering. I mean, James Carville, oh my goodness. That guy, I mean, he was famous for saying it's the economy, stupid, but he was married to a Republican. So, and I remember way back in the day, I never understood how that worked because it seems like people that are in the same households would kind of have the same values, and it just didn't never make sense to me. But now I get it. Their value's money.
Yeah, it does make sense. They have similar values.
Yeah, making money.
Yeah, definitely. This was a fun one to write. This was actually one of my first articles I've ever written. And really, I looked at it from a point of view of James Carville said this quote, I believe, at the beginning of the year. And it caught my eye because right when a lot of Americans on the left and the Democrat voter base was very upset and sad about the specter of Trump coming back into office, James Carville, who's a very famous advisor and to the Democratic Party since I was a kid, since the early 90s for Bill Clinton, he openly said on CNN and TV that they should just roll over and play dead. His response to them was basically to Democrats leadership, don't do anything, let Republicans mess things up, and voters will come back to you. So basically, he didn't want to instill any fight into the Democratic Party, especially at a time from the beginning of the year to now, where the base overwhelmingly wants fighters. They want fighters at the local level, the state level, and at the federal level. But James Carville and other advisors basically saying, don't do anything, lay around, play dead, and the voting base will come back. And it kind of worked with the last month of elections with this mini blue wave you're seeing over the last few weeks.
Yeah, but that blue wave was not the blue wave that people were hoping for, right? The difference between the progressive Tea Party and the Mod Squad. I thought that was a very interesting take.
Yeah, that part is really strong because if you look at it from the blue wave that a lot of us on the progressive and socialist left, what we really envisioned was a big movement of progressive ideals spearheaded by, like in New York City with Zohran Mamdani, as well as in Seattle with the progressive new mayor, Katie Wilson. We're really hoping for a progressive push that the Democratic establishment would really advocate for. But as you saw nationwide, every time it was like some kind of progressive leader with any kind of name recognition, the Democrats wanted nothing to do with it. As you saw, as we famously know, the Democrat establishment ultimately didn't really want to endorse Zohran Mamdani. Chuck Schumer officially never endorsed him. Hakeem Jeffries waited to endorse Zohran at the very last minute. The Minnesota establishment actively worked against the DSA candidate, Omar Fateh. So really, we saw that they wanted the centrist. And then I had in the Mod Squad, you saw that there's an overwhelming win of a lot of the centrist Democrats, I'm very upset because journalist Ken Klippenstein has a better name. He calls them the national security moms. So he's talking about in Michigan, Senator Alyssa Slotkin, the new governor of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, as well as the new governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill. And these new Democrats are Slotkin, former CIA, Spanberger, former CIA, and then Sherrill, former military in the Navy. So this is essentially where the Democrats are actually putting their money and time behind. You saw Obama actually went in person and campaigned with Spanberger and Sherrill, but he didn't do that for Katie Wilson. He didn't do that for Zoran. So the Democratic establishment is pushing these women that are basically national security centrist war hawks as kind of the face of where they want the party to go to. And in the article, I kind of commented that this is basically the passing the baton of the Hillary Clinton archetype. From Hillary Clinton to Amy Klobuchar to Kamala Harris to now Mikey Sherrill, Spanberger, and Slotkin, this is kind of what they want to kind of win over this purple moderate that's in the suburbs. I mean, the last thing I'll say is also this is kind of why they last year campaigned so heavily with Liz Cheney. They want to have this tough on crime, militaristic soccer mom caricature that they're promoting versus a left populist progressive candidate like a Zoran or even like like less progressive like a Katie Wilson.
Yeah. I was thinking of another Katie Porter. I mean, wasn't Amy Klobuchar famous for throwing a stapler?
Well,
there's a couple stories about her like harassing her aides. There's a couple stories about her eating a salad with a comb. That's the most famous story.
And did she like protect the policeman who killed?
Yeah. So in Minneapolis, when she was attorney general, she had a case that had included Derek Chauvin years before George Floyd. And I don't know the details of the case, but part of her inability to prosecute him properly, he was back on the force and back on the streets, and ultimately led to the unfortunate murder of George Floyd 2020. So that's ultimately what kind of derailed her 2020 bid to be VP when that came out to the national news.
Yep.
I do remember that now.
Yep.
But when I see Amy Klobuchar, I think stapler flying. And when I see Katie Porter, I think you're in my effing shot.
Yeah, that's kind of the model they want. The Mod Squad, Spanberger, Sherrill, Alyssa Slotkin. I mean, for instance, Alyssa Slotkin this past year was on The Late Show on national TV. She's getting pushed to the moon to be a face of the Democratic Party.
Right.
Whereas they're trying to ignore Zoran, they're trying to ignore Katie Wilson, they're trying to ignore a lot of the progressive wins because ultimately that's not what the donors or establishment wants.
Right.
Yep. And that kind of proves our point of why you cannot change the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Because they won't allow it. That's all there is. It's top down. It's scripted. They already know who they want to win. But I did like your last paragraph. Very much. The whole thing was great. And excellent job on your first article.
Yeah, thank you.
The Democratic Party's message in 2025 is clear: stability over transformation, moderation over movement politics, and until progressives build power outside the Democrat Party's current structure, invest in the Green Party, PSL, and new political entities, the center will continue to hold.
Right.
That was kind of like I wanted to end on a hopeful thing for the left because oftentimes the left and the online left is anti-electoralism, but electoralism is really where you get the attention of the country. And until we really take serious building power structures outside of the Democratic Party, there's always going to be concessions and always going to be issues because for every Zoran victory there's 10 more Spanbergers. That's going to take military money. That's going to be a pro-war candidate. And you really have to understand that. And that's really a challenge to explain to disaffected voters that want change but are scared to take that leap. We have to actually build step by step the alternative for them and really make it, because the key word they're going to say, as I'm sure you guys very know well, is viable. That's always the first way they say about the third party. Is it viable?
Yeah.
So we have to get electoral victories with the third party so that they can see that and come over to the third party side, because they're always going to get disappointed because you're always going to have the concessions of the center, because the center has the money, the center has the media, and the center has a stranglehold on the voter base.
Absolutely.
And thank you for concluding with that, because I read so many articles that, list all the complaints. And then at the end, there's nothing there except, well, maybe we need a new party, and I completely mistrust anybody who writes that kind of stuff. I just think it sounds discouraging. It sounds hopeless. And we got plenty of really good parties. Obviously, I think the Green Party is the best one. But thank you for listing that, because again, they want to keep it, impossible to make a change. Oh, well, I guess we're going to have to accept this because these are our only choices. So yeah, that's super important that you list those.
It's a constant missed opportunity. And now that we're the third largest party, they're going to try even harder to suppress us,
Right.
because we're gaining steam, and they don't want that.
And you make a great point about, you're right. It's the candidates that keep people excited. And, I live in the protest world, and I get really angry at these people because they're not willing to recognize that, yes, candidates are the point. And they're out there complaining and protesting about bills that were written by these candidates that are currently in office. So how on earth do they not realize, oh, we should get some different people in there and actively work to get different people instead of just complaining about the ones that are there now? I mean, that's drives me nuts, but thank you.
Definitely. I think also my point of view is, as a millennial, the number one coming up through Obama, being excited for that, and then getting reinvigorated through Bernie, and then more radicalized of understanding what's outside of the two-party system. The number one thing for the left in the next decade, especially for the Gen Z left, is to leave the Democratic Party. We need people to. Nothing else is really going to. There won't be major change until that's our number one goal, and achieve that. And because the Democrats won't respect progressives and the left until we have a power structure outside of them, because they can always bend you to their will. And as we've seen, the Democratic Party is very, very good at taking and absorbing progressive energy in their big tent, and then defanging it. So until we have Green Party city council, state representatives, county commissioners, things like that, they won't blink or lose sleep about the left, because electorally, most of us still vote Democrat, and that's one of our biggest issues.
And I'm going to say this
about what Chibu said last night about our winners. Thank you.
Yes. But also in a way, it's also a complaint about our Green Party. We have got to get better, because Chibu came on and she was announcing all of the candidates that had won in 2025 and some of the people that are already in office. And our Green Party does not advertise that. And that is insane. That is insane. We have to do much better with that. We should have those names out everywhere, even if it's a small office, because you're right. There's no perception out there that they call the green non-viable because they don't see anything. But the stuff, it's out there. We have candidates. I mean, we have people who have won elections.
The Green Party has won over 1,000 times.
Yeah. And so,
and people just don't know it. So I learned that last night from Chibu, because she's on the what is it, the coordinating campaign committee.
Yeah,
she helps like statewide and local people. So she was just talking about that. I mean, we've got a mayor here in Illinois, in Galesburg, Peter Schwartzman, Green Party.
Yeah,
it's I think it's a nonpartisan position, but he's green. He's still got the job, So
I think a key thing with that is branding and marketing, right? I mean, the lesson that the Democrat establishment learned from Zoran is marketing of like his video style.
Right.
And I think the lesson that the Green Party and third parties overall should learn is that every victory, no matter how small it is, you got to blast it and advertise it, because otherwise that word viable is going to be like thrown at us nonstop. So if we say there's a mayor, a county commissioner that's currently in office today, we need to have them on every podcast, every social media post, get nonstop in people's faces, because that's where that's where it starts. You have to plant a seed somewhere.
Right. No, absolutely. Make a note, social media, national. Edie's on the national social media. So,
the National Media Committee.
Yeah.
I've already been talking about it.
Yeah. And we're going to do that here too. I mean, I already have reached out to Chibu. I want to get a lot of those folks on here. And right, it doesn't matter how small the office. It does not matter. You're still representing the Green Party. You are in office, so it's super important.
So I want to shift gears a little and talk about the Solidarity Now Collective. So it took us. I mean, I was part of it. I guess I still am kind of part of it, even though I'm not active. Do you want to tell everybody about it?
Oh, definitely. So Solidarity Now is a lot of comrades throughout the nation, and we have one international member based in England. So we have members throughout the nation that all came together from Socialist Alternative, Worker Strike Back, and then we were all like-minded comrades that saw that we want to have multiple, not citizenship, but we want to be part of different organizations. And we want to basically learn from the different leftist organizations that are in North America as well as internationally. Worker Strike Back, DSA, the Green Party, PSL, any activist or union organizations come together and basically try to grow a united front together that can help educate the American left and also have solidarity internationally with the overall socialist movement internationally. So really what we came together with is trying to have a structure of an organization that we can take from information and learn, as well as build through different partnerships. And then ultimately now we have membership, we have monthly meetings, as well as we're also starting off our information gathering with our Substack that we launched recently. So really Solidarity Now is a very exciting organization because the biggest thing we wanted to fight against is the perceived left infighting, which is that every leftist wants to have their own niche organization that is going to be very purity testing and very small, but we wanted to come together because the left in America doesn't have a lot of power. So why are we fighting amongst ourselves, and why are we in these silos? We really need to work together and to try to get electoral power, power in unions, powers in the activist movement, powers at the college level. We really need to work together at different fronts and push things forward together versus try to be siloed off and have purity testing. And then ultimately on Solidarity Now, our mission statement, we announced the things we care about: Medicare for all, shorter work weeks, higher minimum wage, anti-racism, things against LGBTQ plus issues, things as far as anti-imperialism, really being pro-peace, increasing democracy, not only in the workplace, but also at the ballot box. So these are really things that in our mission statement, we really care about, we're working towards. And as a young organization, we've done some great things already as far as participating in the No Kings protest, working with the Teamsters Union, and trying to get a more left radical union president and trying to push for that election, which is a key thing, getting labor power, as well as now looking at recent petitions and protests against Zoran in New York City, standing with the Palestinian movement and other DSA caucuses that are calling out Zoran for keeping the police commissioner Tish. So we're really trying to participate nationwide. And so far in our first year, we've had some pretty good momentum.
I have to say, I knew that Edie was a part of it. I didn't really understand the actual details. Now that I'm hearing it, oh my God, this is absolutely fantastic, because an organization that exists to reach out to other organizations on the left, that's absolutely brilliant, because we struggle with that. We talked about left unity all the time, but like, we're one of those groups. Instead of having an organization that they'll bring us and the others in together. Wow, actually, the concept is really exciting. And there is so much, I know there's so much arguments over the left. And so let me ask you, are you familiar with CPA and Midwestern Marx? Because
vaguely, I've seen information about them before.
Yeah, because they're a new communist party. And I followed Midwestern Marx for years, and I just love them. I just love them. And that gets to the one of the real issues is that there's this fighting over communism and socialism. And it's like, come on, folks. Marxist theory is you get socialism first, and then you get communism. So why are you guys fighting? But it's this. You're right. This you weird purity test stuff that goes on, and it would be wonderful if you guys could bring everybody together. That would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, the organization exists to create a space where we can all come together. I've been in those meetings before. We can all come together and say, so and so is doing this. How can we connect with that? And like we bring back what we learned, you know. And that I think eventually, as the solidarity now grows, you might be able to broker some stuff and getting people in the same room. That's what I'm
Yeah,
hoping.
yeah,
Yeah.
ideally, right? Because that's really the goal. If we're trying to grow left unity and left power in America
Hmm.
and internationally, because of course any left movement has to be international, we have to stop with infighting as well as stop with the mudslinging in different organizations. Of course, as we know, like the DSA, for instance, is everyone's favorite whipping boy. And DSA, what I've observed is really just a kind of a stand-in for like a progressive left person that you don't like, even if that person is not in the DSA. I personally have joined the DSA and I'm learning from different comrades there. I'm going with open mind and being humble because they're very strong with organizing. So I think from Solidarity Now, we want to connect different people, to your point, Edie, and really increase power. And to your point, hopefully have some meetings where we can actually connect various left electoral groups, unions, content creators, people that can move the needle and bring them together.
I mean, I know that Butch Ware. He announced his candidacy for governor of California, and he was really upset when PSL announced a candidate. And so those are the kind of things that's like some basic stuff that we should be coordinating so that we're not overlapping. That's not a good thing to be doing. I did have issues with Shama Sawant, and when she would go on tour and she would always end her speeches with "We need a new party." And that right there with Green Party sitting there, that always bothered me. But I absolutely think that I want her to win, and we shouldn't run anybody against her,
Right.
right? Because we want success. I mean, and again, we're in the left. We have 99% of what we talk about, we agree on. So there shouldn't be competition.
Yeah, I would say most of our disagreements shouldn't be deal breakers, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And the more we coordinated, that's what they fear, actually.
right.
Every time we argue amongst ourselves, the duopoly gets excited, like
Yeah.
they're going to fail again.
Yeah.
Well, if we can put some of these things on the back burner and have that conversation later. I mean, we agree on universal health care. We agree we need living wage. We agree we need to house the unhoused. Let's just work on those and worry about the other things later.
Yeah, I think coordination is key because you look at, like said, like California with the governor candidates, Butch Ware and the PSL candidate, coordination could help with that, as well as contingency plans. We still have time to do that second step, right? Which
Mhm.
is have backroom conversations as far as if X person's polling higher, do we consolidate power behind one candidate so we can have more momentum together?
Yep.
So I think that conversation should be started. I'm not sure if it's already happening. Again, it could be, but I think we should put that out there from the
Yeah.
Green Party and PSL as far as for California. And another instance as well, if you look at New York City has a PSL candidate running for Congress against Richie Torres. The candidate his name is Andre Easton in the Bronx.
But
So
see,
PSL has a candidate. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was going to say because we had Jose Vega on and he announced a long time ago. And again, I would
As a
have.
Democrat.
Oh,
Yeah.
that whole thing is so weird. I don't even know. if
He's
we wanna
running
get
as a
into that.
Democrat
As a-
primary to win that, I guess, and then he's gonna be an independent.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so that comes to where we discuss strategy, right? Because Richie Torres, as we know, is going to get backed by this is play this out, this game this out. Richie
Okay.
Torres is going to get backed by the Democratic Party, and he's going to get millions of dollars not only from AIPAC but from other PACs and donors because he's the incumbent Democrat. Then you have a crowded field of Michael Blake, who was the former candidate for mayor. He's an Obama alum, and he's trying to unseat Richie Torres. So he's in second place. And then you have Jose Vega, who is third. And then outside of the Democrat primary, you have the PSL candidate, Andre Easton. So as the left, we should understand from the Green Party side, we should probably try to work with PSL to push to get Andre Easton to really challenge Richie Torres, because I could probably confidently say DSA probably won't weigh in and endorse Andre Easton, and maybe we should try to broker that as well. He's a socialist. He's a third party. We want to get, the goal should be, the number one goal is get rid of Richie Torres. So what is the best way possible from Green Party, PSL, DSA? How do we get rid of Richie Torres?
Right.
And I want to add a little backstory. And again, I realize I do not know the timing of the PSL candidates, and it adds complexity because Jose Vega became a Democrat recently. He's kind of supposedly trolling it to try to, but he was a LaRouche candidate, and he announced he's been running a campaign for months and months. So again, to me, it seems now he added a little winger to it, but it seems that again, it sounds like PSL got into something that already there was a candidate who's a real leftist. And so it just adds, I don't know, it adds to the complexity. But it's a reason we absolutely need solidarity now, because we got to unify. This is a mess.
Yeah.
It's just a mess.
Well said. I wanted to bring up a couple comments. I think we know who this is. Leftist in Progress, Mr. Elza. The Comrades and local DSA branches are quite radical and open to criticism, unlike its leadership oftentimes.
Right.
I found that to be true.
And yeah.
And then Lewis Gordon had a question, which we could go on and on about, but we won't. We'll give you the short answer. Here in Illinois, the Green Party has to realize Pritzker, liberals, Green, and independents have to have more signatures than Dems and Republicans.
Yeah, by a 20-to-1 ratio. So, right. So we have it brutal here.
We are well aware.
Yeah.
And we can't start until February 25th. If you would like to help out with that, go to ilgp.org and sign our signature pledge. And then, we're doing training for sure, like formal training in January, but you can come hang out with us on Thursday night, 8 p.m. At our just kind of hangout meeting, Meet the Greens. We can talk about whatever you want.
That is also, you can get the link to that at ilgp.org/events. It's our Thursday night Zoom hangout. Yeah.
So we do have to get 25,000 for the statewide candidates.
And the Democratic Party will take us to court. So we actually need 50,000.
Yeah.
So seriously, we need 50,000. So it's going to be a rough road for us in early 2026. But thank you for bringing that up, because we should mention that in every show, because it's really important. And Edie is running for lieutenant governor. So the final goal, if we get on the ballot with the 50,000 signatures, the final goal is for the governor, lieutenant governor, it's one spot, to reach 5%. If we get 5% in the election, we are an established party. And then for the next 4 years, we can run folks just like the Democrats and Republicans do. Same ballot access.
Yeah, we have to build that structure before we can run the best candidates. And then we'll spend all of our time and money campaigning instead of trying to get on the ballot.
Right. Right.
Just a quick reminder, everyone, please like, subscribe, and share. We are at what, Scott?
I think 605 or
605.
We got over our goal last night. We got over our goal of 600. So yay. Thanks, everybody.
So that's enough of that for now. We're back to Mr. Zeke.
Yeah.
So what else is going on? What are you working on? Your job as an engineer, that has to be interesting. What kind of engineer?
Well, yeah, so I'm a mechanical engineer by degree, but my current job, I'm a director of business development for a sensor company. So we do like environmental sensing. So also kind of my lefty politics bleeds over into my day job, which is a good thing.
Wow.
So
that's rare. That is rare. Good for you. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so we do like air quality technology. So that's kind of how I also reached out to the Green Party campaign for Butch Ware, because of like AI, of going to different conferences in the last year plus of these AI facilities completely damaging air quality, damaging the water quality. And now it's getting mainstream attention. Yeah. What it first caught my eye was in Memphis last year with the Grok Twitter facility, which was in a Black neighborhood in South Memphis, which was polluting their water and air quality tremendously. So things like that is really my passion. And now it's like kind of combining.
We got to cover that, actually, 80. I didn't realize that it was a specific, So it's the Grok in which town was it?
It's in Memphis.
Memphis. Okay, great.
But there's plenty
Yeah.
others. I mean, there's like
Oh, I know. Yeah.
there's the meta facilities in Oregon, the brand new Google facilities that will be in Texas, in the rural parts of Texas.
Okay.
There's the Virginia. As of today, half of their electric grid goes to AI data centers in the state of Virginia. So
Oh,
it's ramped up insane in the last 3 years.
wow. Yeah. I mean,
And there's one in Lake County, right?
right.
Mhm.
And we're familiar with the plans for Lake Michigan. We've read about that they want to go after Lake Michigan. So yeah, it's and like you said, it is accelerating at a speed that it's unbelievable. It is.
But yeah, other things we're working on, as you're asking, Edie, is like we just released a new article today on the Solidarity Now collective about the working within the Democratic Party and really diving into the conversation of what AOC and Zoran has done with the endorsement essentially of Hakeem Jeffries and stopping the primary challenge from Chiose. So that's really a big article we worked on the last week plus to kind of show a timeline of the last month and really also discussing the reaction of the online left as far as there's kind of two sides. The side that doesn't want to endorse Chiose and understands Zoran AOC's mindset. And then there's the side that's very angry at Zoran and AOC because they believe that there should be an insurgency in the Democratic Tea Party. So why are they stopping it now? So really, the article goes into kind of both sides of it and kind of highlights the last 10 years of the strategy of working with inside the party since Bernie.
And can I share that? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, definitely go ahead. It's published. It's public now. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I do want to talk about a comment. I recognize this person in the chat. That's Andre Stackhouse, Seattle Green Party. And he loves our intro. I will have to ask the creator of that. I was just talking to them today. So I'll see what we can do.
And by the way, the music is me.
And the music is Mr. Scott Free.
It's called Uprising. Yeah. Agosa is the vocalist. She's a Nigerian. So yeah, I put that together a couple years ago. So.
I would say just contact me through socials. I'm sure you have my socials and or send a message through the ilgp.org on the contact page and it'll find its way to me. My number's still the same if you have it though. All right, okay, moving on.
Yeah.
I have not read this yet. So do you want to walk us through it, Zeke?
Yeah, definitely. So this was a fun one to write. It took a lot of time, a lot of editing as far as really trying to capture the sense of the left. So the last month we saw some murmurs starting from Zoran during his election night party. So his election night party, there's a leak to the New York Times saying that he uninvited a New York City councilman, Chiose. And Chiose, for those that don't know in the audience, Chiose was an early ally of Zoran. He's on the city council in New York City. He's from Brooklyn. And he was a big advocate for Zoran, as well as he's been rumored over the last few months for something bigger past city council. And Chi was ramping up to file papers to run for Congress to challenge Hakeem Jeffries. So apparently Zoran's camp caught wind of this. And on his election night party in early November, Zoran allegedly uninvited Chiose from the party. And then AOC a week later talked to Axios, and she highlighted to Axios that she thinks a primary challenge of Hakeem Jeffries is not a good idea. So you have those rumors and leaks from both Zoran and AOC. And then in local news media, Zoran went on local New York City TV saying that he does not think it's the right time for a primary challenge and the focus should be on his affordability agenda. And then the big thing here, I'll pause and we can talk about it. Zoran personally went to a local DSA meeting during their electoral working group meeting to personally lobby against the DSA endorsing Chiose. So he used his early political capital to stop the party, to stop the organization from endorsing Chiose, and it barely squeaked out. So DSA chose not to endorse Chiose. I'm pretty confident Zoran's personality, being there in person, had a lot of sway on that. So the whole point of the article is really understanding if the goal of the Democratic Socialists is kind of be insurgents and to take over the party, to take it back from the centrist, to take it back from the billionaire class, why why is it that the two most famous Democrat socialists are actively undercutting a primary challenge to a person who's been called AIPAC Shakur, to a person in Hakeem Jeffries that's unpopular nationwide, who is the face of everything that the Democratic Party that hates the left. He openly punches left all the time.
Yep.
He recently condemned socialism in a resolution this past week.
Yep.
So this is really the tension about political capital and protecting Jeffries and actually being an insurgent party within the Democrats. And that's really the challenge. That's really been a social media fight over the last 2 weeks amongst DSA and outside operators.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember when I heard that Obama called Baghdadi, I was like, okay, here we go. Here we go.
I gotta say, I didn't want to be right about it.
I am shocked.
I didn't want to be right about it, but I saw the signs early on when they start already modulating, their pro-Palestinian language.
Yeah.
Before the primary even happens, I'm like, something's going on there. And once you start like listening for those things, you can't miss them.
I'm surprised at how fast they had him turn on everybody. I am really surprised. I mean, it wasn't even like you said, at the party they started the turn. I mean, within days he's already betrayed the progressives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the challenge is, so this is my first podcast. I'm very excited to say this, is that I want Zoran to succeed. I want him to achieve his affordability agenda. I'm also biased because a lot of my family lives in New York City. My younger sister actually canvassed for Zoran in our neighborhood in Queens. So I want him to succeed. I want him to be successful. But the challenge is that the Democratic Socialists and progressives like Zoran, like the Squad, they consistently want to play nice with the centrist and the party. And for the last 10 years, from Bernie to AOC and the Squad to Zoran now, it seems like they don't understand how the power dynamics really operate. The center never fears the progressive wing because the progressive wing always protects them. To really put fear into Hakeem Jeffries, you need to primary challenge him. Even I fully accept that Chiosei is a long shot to win, and Hakeem Jeffries is well funded, but Hakeem Jeffries has not had a real primary challenger in over 12 years. This is someone who basically, if you look at his election results, wins from like 75 to 90% of the vote in his district because it's usually him versus like some Republican running a vanity campaign.
Right.
So he's never had a real primary challenge in 12 years. Chiosei is a very young, charismatic, very popular city council member. I argue he's probably the most popular city council member in America. This is kind of crazy to say that a city council person has a nationwide name. He's been in GQ magazine this past September.
Okay.
He's been on multiple streams with Hassan Piker, the most popular political streamer in the country. So Chiosei has a national brand, and also a thing that is discounted by a lot of the left content creators. Chiosei's dad, the late Reggie Osei, aka Combat Jack, is a very famous hip hop podcaster and hip hop entertainment lawyer. So you have a whole base of hip hop entertainment media that could be activated to support the son of this legend running for Congress to unseat Hakeem Jeffries. So I just believe it's a gross miscalculation by Zoran and AOC to either sit out and not discuss it, does not say anything for now, but to go so aggressive to endorse and to protect Hakeem Jeffries is such a weird calculation when he is the face of AIPAC fundraising in the House. He's the face of punching left. The goal should be to unseat him, to put a new person in that seat, and to really show that is a new day in Democratic politics. And that's really what the heart of the article is about.
And, I'm going to make a statement, and Edie knows I'm going to make a statement. And it's, I have my own viewpoints, and I understand that I think your organization is fantastic. I mean, the concept is absolutely great. But I also feel that there is a point at which a person sells out. In my opinion, the person sells out when they put a D next to their name. They put a D next to their name saying, I am good with working with an organization that committed a genocide. and slaughtered hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. So I don't think it's miscalculation. I think that there is an agreement at some point. I mean, maybe he had good intentions at some point, and then the hammer came down with Obama or whoever, and he changed his mind. We'll never know when a person changes or when AOC changes. But I can guarantee you in the Democratic Party, every person will change down that long train that started with Obama and Bernie and AOC and Mondani. It will that will guarantee to happen in the Democratic
Yes.
Party. That's there is no doubt that is what will happen. But I also understand that you want to work with people, you want them to unify, and I would certainly hope that we would need folks from DSA to unify with us. So
That's the key part there that I want to
yeah.
highlight is that what seeing online a lot of the pushback from a lot of people and frustration, they're protecting Zoran from like a cult of personality. It's really kind of like the Gen Z version of what I saw in my generation with Obama, of what he's doing wrong. We don't want to critique it. And I think we should call in DSA members that are protecting him and defending his actions. And I think because we need to help, we need to grow the movement with them and their resources as well as their energy. As I highlighted, in New York City alone, there's 11,000 DSA members. If we criticize Euron and criticize the organization, they're going to shut us out.
Sure.
And we need to build with them, as well as I do agree with you that when you put a D next to your name, you're making concessions on your policy platform, right? So Zoran's making a calculation of he wants free buses, but he's going to have to be in bed with the party that's funding Israel, the party that's funding, the party that doesn't believe in healthcare, the party that doesn't believe in a lot of things he stands for, and it's uphill battle. So that is the unfortunate calculation that he's making by being a Democrat. And that is the challenge of us working outside of the party to highlight that contradiction to rank and file members of these organizations and these unions, as well as build our own infrastructure outside of it so we can contend to it and fight back.
Yeah, I want to find ways to highlight it without, with still inviting them in to join us. Still working on what that means. I mean, it sounds to me like your article highlights it as well. Says for the past decade, most progressive leaders, commentators, influencers, and think tank strategists have repeated the same message: stay inside the Democratic Party, try to take it over from within, don't vote third party, don't build independent structures, just elect more progressives. And that is a reformist attitude that has failed for a very long time.
And
so
will continue to fail.
And I don't know how to point that out without hurting their feelings.
Yeah, I think the way to do it, just from me observing, rethinking deeply about it, and talking to a lot of my friends that do vote Democrat, is to really stay in community with them, as well as to highlight the contradictions. But I think the big thing for like the Green Party, PSL, and any other third party is to get electoral wins, because a lot of your general voters that watch CNN, MSNBC, that listen to Pod Save America, they want to see who's elected, right? There's some people with wandering eyes that are interested in third parties, but if they don't know there's a mayor in Illinois, they don't know that there's a city council member in X city that is a Green Party person, go back to that V word, viable, they won't take the leap of faith. And that's really how we bring them along, is like getting electoral wins and building up that infrastructure and really promoting it, because the Socialist Majority Caucus of the DSA, that was a big push of getting Zoran elected, their strategy of work within the party got him elected, right? And they can wave that against us to say, hey, we ran as a Democrat and we're now the mayor of the biggest city.
Yeah.
So how do we combat that? That is a real challenge, because they have a big W on the board. That's a win. They have a big win. What do we contend to show against that?
Right. No. I mean, it is the issue of the funding of the DSA. They got tons of funding behind them too. So when you have tons of funding, you got a whole lot of people doing a lot of work for you.
On
and
the
you
national
can get
level.
that content out. You can get all that content out. When we struggle to have enough people because we are 100% volunteer. I mean, in the Democratic Party, those are career people. Even within DSA, there are folks getting paid. And so that's the challenge is we have to do it. We have to get people who are working on principle alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not easy. That's not easy. That is our challenge. Absolutely.
Yep. I wanted to put up this comment. Good to see Stack Sparrow. Green Party needs to get someone elected to Congress. It would completely change the narrative.
I mean, yeah. And one thing that does happen in the Green Party is they discuss the best possible places for that to happen, because the states have the Democrats and Republicans have worked together to really make it brutally difficult for independent third parties to make it. But it's different state to state. So they talk about how Maryland, maybe there's a chance. Pennsylvania, maybe there's a chance because it's a little easier in terms of ballot access to get there. So yeah, that is something that is certainly the Green Party nationally is aware of. Is that there right now it's Butch Ware is the big person they're looking at. There have been two other people that may actually announce, and they're pretty big names. We keep hearing it's going to happen, and then it doesn't quite happen.
We can't say yet. But
no, I'm not going to say because I don't, But
I'm just telling myself. So,
but
I get excited, and sometimes I blurt.
But yeah, so no, it is. That's Zeke, that's a big part of it too. Can we convince, and we try, can we convince some people who are pretty big names out there, not even necessarily in running as candidates yet? Can we convince them to run as a Green? Because that would help us too.
So, yeah, I think also I thought about that as well. It's like the big name academic or big name social media person with a brand, right?
Right.
That's typically what the outsiders are perceived what the Green Party does. They parachute in at their presidential election and they run a candidate. Again, that's a perception from my friends that I've heard, right? Yeah. So I was gaming out of looking at like some very small like city council. For two case studies I was looking at preparing for this podcast was in Jersey City this past week. 2 DSA members is one in Jersey City on their city council.
Okay.
And one the comrades, he got less than 1,000 votes and won.
Yeah.
So a lot of these city council seats in blue districts are running unopposed, and it takes very little votes and money to win. So I think getting W's like that for the Green Party, again, like I'm not coming in speaking authoritatively because there's stuff happening behind the scenes I'm not aware of, but things like wins like that, DSA is promoting that nonstop the last couple of days. That there's one city council seats in Jersey City, less than 1,000 votes. Okay. That means a very small grassroots campaign that they didn't have 2 seats.
Yes.
One of my favorite ones I'll quickly talk about was Kelsey Bond in Atlanta.
Okay.
They won on the city council in Atlanta in a blue city in a blue district, and they raised $250,000 in campaign funds, and they won with 6,000 votes.
Okay.
So this is another person that the article kind of breaks down like the tangible numbers, and that to me is kind of like if we got a W like that, we could really use that as a feather in our cap to re-highlight it, because a lot of my friends are Green Party curious and interested, but like they're not willing to take that leap because it's, again, going back to the word viable, but we have to build it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're going to be talking to Chifu a lot more because there are people out there and we just need to advertise them because they are not being advertised, even at, from the national, they're not. So yeah, we absolutely have to do that.
One thing that I was encouraged about in the Green Party over across the pond, which I'm sure Dustin can give us some heads up about, but people are defecting from labor, which is like the Democrats. Right. They're defecting and joining the Green Party because they're like, I have to sit at the back of the room. I can't get anything put forward. They tell me to sit down and shut up, and I'm like, wow, that sounds familiar. So I feel welcome here. I want to work on the same things with people that want to work with me.
Yeah.
And that is what we're offering as well. Come join us for, and help us work on the things that we all want together, like universal health care, a living wage, just the things we all agree on.
Yeah.
What we need is money and people.
I mean, we just talked about something that we would absolutely need somebody to do, right? Come on in, help us to do social media for people who are in office who have won elections in 2025. Bingo. There's a huge, huge opportunity to do a whole lot of work and help us out. It's just, it has to do with having enough people. It really does. That's
So that's a great point. And to your point, Edie, as well, I've been paying attention to the English politics, and Zach Polanski, the leader of the Green Party over there, he's been a breath of fresh air as far as a communicator, as galvanizing disaffected Labor Party people. And I think we need to definitely learn and try to build connections. If you guys are, I'm sure you guys are already doing that as well, of like building connections with the party over there and see how they could transfer knowledge, because he's taking advantage of people being mad at the Labor Party. And then he's also taking advantage of Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana's party being just starting. So there's a gap for the Green Party to get real power and growth, and Zach Polanski's capitalizing on that. And I think the same could be done in America, where we have a lot of disaffected Democrats that are very upset at the base, very upset with Chuck Schumer, very upset with Hakeem Jeffries. And there's like a 2-3 year gap right now between the next presidential election to really get some small wins to get a lot of voters on our side.
Yeah,
absolutely. Leftist in Progress says Eugene McCarthy is awesome too. He leads the Greens in London.
okay.
So
Yeah.
maybe we could ask them to come on the show.
Yeah. Oh, of course we can ask.
I know they're busy.
No. We always try.
Yeah, we always try, and we do have an international committee somewhere. I'm just not. I don't know who's in it.
Okay.
Still learning the national team. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that unity is going to be huge, because as we grow it, because I take inspiration from the Greens in England, as well as what Zara Sultana she's doing with the Your Party, and then also Claudia Sheinbaum down in Mexico with the Moreno Party. Third parties have been created in Western democracies in my adult lifetime. So we just have to really educate the American people that we can do it. It is possible.
Yeah.
America does have challenges with the petitions and legal fees. I'm not downplaying any of that. That's a lot of headaches that the Democrats put against the Green Party. But we just got to get people to join us, because you're going to get the same results from Zoran, from the squad, from Bernie, if we don't build something else. Because as I said earlier, for every one Zoran, there's 1,000 Joe Manchins in the party that have power, that obfuscate.
And you could say there's one Mamdani, and there isn't even Mamdani. There just isn't, because he's already betraying the progressives already to a huge degree. I mean, this is a big deal to try to stop somebody against Hakeem Jeffries. That's a huge deal.
I don't understand why he would do that. I mean, you already won.
You made the bargain. You
already won. Why do you have to weigh in at all?
I think that the mindset is really, they want to play nice, right? I think oftentimes the progressive candidates want to show that they're normal Democrats, that they're not really radical rah-rah people. So they want to show that, hey, we're normal, hey, we're serious. And then I think the second thing is, I think Zoran, from reading the articles and watching the interviews, I think he's genuinely concerned with the media attention and the money that the center can spend to stifle him. And I think that fear instilled in him makes him not want to support a primary challenge.
I think, we'll never know the actual details, but I'm sure they are threatened beyond belief.
Yeah.
I mean, they are threatened beyond belief.
Until he writes his book from another country.
There were the theories about Bernie that, his wife was in trouble legally and all that disappeared. And so, I mean, they have.
Yeah, there's always financial threats. And also, I think nowadays, they just use the media, right? I mean, Zoran went through 7 months of Islamophobic attacks in mainstream media. I mean, this past week in New York, right now as we speak, there's a conference hosted by Miriam Adelson, one of Trump's biggest donors, in New York City right now. There's a conference where she's hosting it for her Israeli newspaper, and there's Hillary Clinton's a keynote speaker, as well as Chuck Schumer, as well as other Republicans. And some guests are openly calling Zoran a demagogue, and they're calling him all types of name but a child of God. And this is who the party is, the Democrats and Republicans. They're going to smear him regardless. So I think there's real fear from the media crushing him. And I think to really make it more mundane but truthful, he's afraid that he's going to end up being like Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio was a former mayor of New York who got some progressive things done, but the media crushed him. The media in New York, NYPD crushed him and made him a has-been. Even though de Blasio got universal pre-K through New York City, he beat Cuomo for that, and he got a couple other big things for New York City. But the media in NYPD completely destroyed him, and he hasn't had a political career since then.
Yeah,
I think Zoran sees that as a warning that could happen to him within one term.
And Bernie Sanders said openly that the reason he didn't go Green Party and Independent, where they cheated him in 2016, is he didn't want to end up like Ralph Nader. So the point, though, is that tells you the quality of that person. That tells you the quality of that person. Are they really a revolutionary socialist, or are they just a play the game quasi socialist? But
yeah,
that's the thing. It's the quality of the person. And that's why, folks who have joined the Green Party, they already have the qualities. And I'm not saying those people can't change. I've seen plenty of people go from Green Party. Oh, I'm in the Democrats now. So I've seen that too, of course.
I want to put up this comment real quick. Call me Ralph Nader any day. What an honor.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, exactly.
Right.
I mean, beloved and did a lot of good things for the people. Like, what's wrong with that? If that's all you did in your life, you did something good.
And that's the thing. We need those people coming in over and over and over again until we break the system.
Right.
Yeah.
Mondani ain't gonna break the system.
No, he's not. And I think the challenge, the goal for the Greens and PSL, I'll keep lumping them in there, because the goal should be to build like a roster of talent, of politicians that you can run, campaign people, social media people. We have to build up that infrastructure, because we don't want just one charismatic person every 10 years. We want a real sustainable structure that we can run people and win elections. And again, like I said, I want Zoran to be successful, but as you highlighted, once you put a D next to your name, you're making some concessions, and we're seeing the fallout of that even before he's inaugurated. And I think that the key takeaway is, how do we make Zoran the right wing of the socialist movement? Like, how do we get other elected people in office over the next 10 years to where he's the right, and we have other flavors of socialists throughout the country?
Right.
And I think we should be working towards that, because he is an inspiration. He's put a spark in New York. I was in the city when he was campaigning. People were very excited to vote for him. But to your point, I think what a lot of us feel on the socialist left, outside of the duopoly, we feel that anger of, here we go again, another
Thank you.
with Zoran, AOC, Ilhan Omar, Bernie. We're tired of that same feeling. And like the article on Substack, we've been feeling it for 10 years.
Yep.
And how do we get rid of that feeling?
Right.
Exactly. So I put your Substack in the comment section. I did want to make a point to that. We have to stop thinking these people will come save us. We have to stop seeing them as the hero that's going to save the day. We have to treat them as people. They're fallible. And when they mess up, we need to hold them accountable.
Worse than fallible. There's just a lot of folks out there.
Any hero.
Yeah.
We're talking broadly, anywhere, anytime. Don't look at, politicians as heroes. They're not. They're people. Yeah. And if you have this hero worship, that means you won't criticize them. You have to criticize them. It is your job to hold them accountable for everything they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think ultimately as well is like looking at elections, look at the numbers. People in the Solidarity Now collective laugh at me because I'm so electoral focused. I think oftentimes the socialist left and online left, we punt and don't care about electoralism. But electoralism is where most people pay attention to politics in America, unfortunately. Yeah. If you look at the Democrats, leave a lot on the table to be taken by the Green Party, meaning that there's a lot of victories we can take, because there's a lot of, as I've mentioned earlier, there's a lot of races in blue cities that run unopposed. I mean, Zoran, when he ran as a state assemblyman, he ran unopposed. I mean, so you're running in blue cities, blue districts where you have no challenger. There's some easy victories for us to win, as well as policy platforms, right? I'll be quick on this one. Like for instance, as we all know, the Green New Deal was created by the Green Party and co-opted by Democrats.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There's a lot of different topics we can push as the Green Party that's domestic focused, like expanding democracy. For instance, like pushing the idea of voting as a national holiday or a federal holiday,
Yep.
pushing for DC becoming a state, expanding, getting rid of gerrymandering, getting rid of the filibuster, uh, for pushing the vote for Puerto Rico for its own independence, right, and for them to decide their future.
Yeah.
Pushing to redistrict to get rid of proportional, so that states have different levels of representation, right?
Yeah.
Because states like Wyoming, Montana, per person had more representation than California.
Yeah.
So the Green Party could really take the mantle a lot of this democracy stuff and what it means to be American, and really push that, because the Democrats are leaving that on the table that they're not even discussing. Ranked choice voting, getting rid of first past the post, as well as different topics such like with democracy that we could really promote and push, that's within our constitution, that could really be energizing for people.
Yeah.
And also the biggest one to me is being pro peace. That's a big advocate. That's already on the Green Party's platform, but really the Democrat Party is a pro-war party.
Oh,
That really
absolutely.
upsets me so much, because we're seeing what's happening now in Venezuela of them ramping up.
Yep.
And no real Democrat on any level is really calling it out or calling for peace. They want Maduro gone as well, and
Yep.
they're critiquing how he wants to get rid of Maduro.
Right.
And I'll bring it back to Zoran. Trump is killing people in the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people he's been killing have been Trinidadian, from Trinidad and Tobago. The biggest Trinidadian diaspora is in New York City, in Brooklyn, in Hakeem Jeffries' district. And Hakeem Jeffries today said he's not going to try to impeach Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, for war crimes.
Right.
So there's connections you can make of Hakeem's lack of action towards protecting his constituents' family in Trinidad and Colombia.
Yep.
His pro-war stance, and the fact that he's milquetoast and doing nothing. So there's really ways we connect. The Green Party can really capitalize on stuff like that and try to get voters on our side through these like local to international issues.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the Democrats cannot hide the fact that they are a party of empire. They just, when it comes down to it, yeah, they are going to sign those bombs. I mean, they just are. That's
Literally.
literally. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even trying anymore. And all of the things that you said, I completely agree with. And I know there are people within the Green Party that are working on these things. Issue comes back to, again, publicity, trying to break through, the noise in the media system, having enough people and enough money to get our message out.
Yes.
All of those things have been discussed and promoted within the Green Party. So, and I've only been here, a year and a half, and I've heard about all of those things. So we just need to make the public aware.
Right.
So we need a campaign just for that. All the things that we're for.
And we got to get people involved. So yes, and so Zeke, obviously you're going to help us do that. That's absolutely fantastic, because we just need people. Every single topic that comes up, it's like, and all we need is some people to help work on that, right?
Yeah, and that's the goal of our collective solidarity now, is to really try to have people in unions and different organizations like the Green Party and DSA and different local regional organizations to try to amplify that message, because we need to expand democracy. We need to expand it in the workplace, at the ballot box, and we need to really have a pro-peace movement, because the Democratic Party is a pro-war party. And tying it back to the first article I wrote about the Mod Squad, about Spanberger, Slotkin, these CIA agents and military vets that they're promoting, that is what the party wants. And the American people don't want war. I mean, I think 70% of the American people today don't want war with Venezuela. I mean, we really need to be amplifying that the Democrats are looking to make a lot of money off this. I mean, you brought up Shama Sawant earlier. She's running against Adam Smith, who's based in Seattle. And one of his biggest donors, of course, is Boeing, who makes a lot of weapons for the military. who's going to they will profit off of an invasion to Venezuela.
Right.
So we really need to be amplifying this pro-peace message and really getting people energized behind this, because I'm the kid of Caribbean immigrants, and seeing people in the Caribbean being blown up on fishing boats hits home very closely to me, because it's like, this is craziness. This is not right. So we really need to come together. I know PSL announced they're partnering with a protest movement this coming Saturday, December 6th.
It might be what I was just about to bring up. So Chicago Committee Against War and Racism, they are doing protests about the impending Venezuelan attack. And so both the Illinois Green Party and PSL are co-sponsors. And maybe I can just try to get it up and get this graphic in here before we close. Okay. But yeah, it's at Federal Plaza. It's going to be 5 p.m. of any day that it happens. And they are saying it is within days. I don't think I'll get it up. I'm not fast enough. But yeah, so we'll talk after. But yeah, there is so folks, in fact,
we can talk about it on Saturday. We'll put it in our Saturday show. And
also I'll have it online, folks, so you can see it. ilgp.org/events. And I'll just put it at the top. But there's, protests for Venezuela. In fact, you're right, because Code Pink is also doing something, I think, on Saturday. And that might be the one that's just a planned event. This is 5 p.m. of a day that we start the invasion. But there's also a Saturday one, yes.
Yeah, I mean, pro-peace is something that we really have to hammer home, because the American people are tired of war and imperialism. And then I think the key thing, talking to my Democrat voter friends, is how do we tie the imperialism to the local home domestic issues? And I think talking to them, I think what I've learned, it's probably part of a tangent, but I want to get your guys' feedback as well.
Yeah.
Part of what I've learned talking to my friends, I used to be very rah-rah, angry and radical, saying that the Democrats and Republicans are the same. And what I realized that when I say that, their eyes glaze over, the ears shut. Because to Democrat voters, especially my friends who are Black, bougie, PMC, white collar people, there's no way in hell you can say the Democrats and Republicans are the same. Yeah. So I've learned now to communicate with my friends and highlight the contradictions and shortcomings, like we're seeing with Zoran, with like the keeping the Zionist police chief or protecting Hakeem Jeffries, and also the Democrats' inability to protect SNAP and healthcare benefits. That hits home very well with my Democrat voter friends, because they see the hypocrisy and they see the shortcomings. So I think stuff like that is how we tie that to then grow into the bigger pro-peace imperialism stuff, because I think that oftentimes what I've heard from my friends is that they see the Green Party or PSL being in the streets protesting war and violence, but they're not focusing on what's happening at home, the domestic front. So that's really something that I've been trying to figure out how to communicate properly, of the domestic issues and then tying it to imperialism, because the SNAP stuff got a lot of my friends energized, because being Black, and even though I'm college educated, a lot of our family members are one paycheck away from being the working poor. Right. So it hit home to a lot of us of like how dire the situation was a few months ago with the government shutdown. So when people are struggling and stressed about that, there's selfishly, but also at the same time, they don't have time to worry about what's happening in Venezuela, but you want to be able to connect it. And I think that's how I've learned to do it.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. I mean, right. I'm guilty of that too. I call it the uniparty. And I think the connection, though, at least they need, if they don't have to know the details around it, they have to understand that that's where our money's going. And our money could be staying home, but our money gets sent for bombs going out of the country.
Yeah, I say that a lot. Well, it has been fantastic to talk to you. Oh, okay. Sorry.
I did get it up. Yeah. So if the U.S. attacks Venezuela, an emergency response, this is for Chicagoans, at Federal Plaza, Dearborn and Adams, 5 p.m. of the day of the attack. So, and we'll have this up on our website so you can see it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Zeke. It's been a pleasure having you. And if you want to hang out for a couple and talk about you and Scott talk, I'll probably hang out for a few, but I don't know how long. I'm still tired.
I want to hear about your DJing, but we'll talk about that.
Oh yeah, it's right behind me. All my stuff's right behind me. Yeah.
Okay. And thanks to our audience for being here. Mr. Stack Sparrow, please get a hold of me, and we will discuss our intro. I think
Thanks,
it's
everybody.
amazing as well.
Oh,
So
it's cool. It is really cool.
and we'll see you all Saturday at our news of the week. I think we're going to try to do a foreign policy one.
Yeah.
This week, and then I think
Oh.
the week after that we're going to do that tying. I think we're already on the same page, so
Yep.
we're going to tie it into domestic. So
Okay.
all righty, everybody, peace.
An uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising. Fight the power. It's an uprising. Fight the power.